Hey, shh. Calm down. The show is about to start. Reese on the radio. Turn it up. Turn it up low. Turn it up loud.
It's like a dream come true.
Turn on your radio. Reese is on the radio.
Yo, let's get it.
Due to the nature of this program, discretion does not exist. It's Reese on the radio. Right now on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Yeah! Oh, baby. Ladies and gentlemen, I knew I was right. Hold on to your hats. It's Reese on the radio on WTIC News Talk 1080. I usually don't get this excited, folks, but I cannot tell you how excited I am today. We've got scandal after scandal after scandal to discuss today that you haven't even been introduced to. Yeah, we'll talk about the subpoenas and the Epstein file. Of course we'll get into that. Hell, we've even got Tampon Tim Walz news that Judicial Watch released yesterday. We've got scandals going on with the environmentalist group known as the Connecticut Green Bank. Did you know they were burning trash? Yes, they are. Did you know that? Yes. They are getting criticism by none other than the Sierra Club. You know, those corrupt sons of a guns. Did you see that documentary called Planet of the Humans? Oh, the Sierra Club. Boy, what a tangled web we weave. But the Connecticut Green Bank, who would have known? And somebody explained to me how $1.2 billion in assistance in greening up your home only went to 7,500 homes? And they managed to spend $1.2 billion to greenify your home? We'll get into it. But I'm going to start off with the light stuff. And I am going to tell you, those of you out there who have been called conspiracy theorists, QAnon members, hey, straight up whack jobs. I'm here to tell you, not that you need me, but I'm here to tell you, you were 145 million% right. I think we have reason to believe. I think that there is enough evidence to suggest that the 2020 election was not up to snuff. Now, what would possibly give me the audacity to say such a thing? Listen. Do we know, beyond a shadow of a doubt, regardless of what media outlets are playing it down the middle or going soft on the info, do we know that Barack Obama, John Brennan, James Clapper, James Comey, Susan Rice, do we know that they invented evidence to suggest that Donald Trump was a Russian asset? It's irrefutable. I don't give a damn who you are and where you are. I don't care how many Barack Obama kneecaps you've sucked over the last 14 years. They did it. Which lends only one theory. If they would do that after the election, and as many people have already suggested, to do something, and I've got the audio here, I played it, to interfere with the inauguration of Donald Trump, the guy who was never supposed to win, if we know that for certain, and people have testified under the threat of being charged with perjury, that that's what was happening in the intelligence apparatus under Barack Obama, Because, again, Donald Trump could not and should not win. How is it unreasonable to believe that they would pull the same stunt in 2020? Who's to believe it? We know what they were willing to do in 2016. We have evidence of that. It has been presented to the DOJ. They are even going to convene a grand jury in Washington, D.C., a town that would never convict the likes of Hillary or Barack or people in the Democrat Party, but they're still going to do it. Perhaps because the evidence is so clear. And remember, Donald Trump is a threat to democracy. He's a threat to everything that Washington is. And to reelect him, we were told, would be the end of it all, the end of our republic. It was absolutely dire that Joe Biden be elected. And folks, weirdly enough, and no one can seem to explain it to me now, where over 10 to 14 million people showed up between 2020 and 2024. Just vanished, disappeared. Remember, Donald Trump, same threat. Miraculously, none of these people showed up. 81 million votes? For old Joe? More than the Messiah himself, who was, we're talking landslide victory over a guy like John McCain. We're talking John McCain, the fabric of Washington, against a virtual unknown Barack Obama. Mitt Romney didn't have a shot. People were kind of nervous, but sure enough, Barack Obama had. We're talking about Barack Obama. Joe Biden is more popular than him? When? The guy who only got 19,000 votes in 2008 in the primary? 19,000, ladies and gentlemen. This guy pulled off 81 million, and then we find out about the events that took place in 2016. And you're going to tell me now that 2020 is off the table? We're supposed to just pretend like it never happened? Like we're not supposed to be suspicious of that? I beg your pardon. Everything is on the table now. And with what Project Veritas just revealed today, a small little smidgen of what they produced today and what they are going to produce on Thursday, which I got the inside scoop on, folks, which I'm going to reveal in a little bit, lets me know that the swamp is deep. Not that you didn't know that. Not that you didn't know that. But what we found out today from Project Veritas, in just a small little tease, oh, baby, you are going to be floored if you haven't seen it already. If you're just driving in your car, sitting at home, you're not much of the internet type, don't worry about it. Sit still. I've got you covered. You don't have to go anywhere. We are going to be ground zero for all of the nonsense you didn't know was happening behind the scenes, but now whistleblowers are coming forward. And you folks on the left, oh, yuck it up. Pretend it doesn't matter. I'm just going to say this to you, because what's going to be fascinating, imagine this, ladies and gentlemen. Imagine a bunch of Democrats, leftists, progressives, hell, communists, coming to the defense of William Barr, or coming to the defense of Armstrong Williams. This revelation is so explosive. Democrats will be so desperate to find themselves clutching the likes of William Barr and Armstrong Williams. They will be embracing Republicans in ways you've never dreamt of, which will certify that the swamp is deep, murky, ugly, despicable, and disgusting. It all is. I posted it on my Facebook page. Go there, on both of them, the Reese on the Radio page and just the Reese Hopkins page. Go to both of them. If you can't find it, just go to ReeseOnTheRadio.com, click on the top corner, go to Facebook, and you can go right there, and you can watch the Project Veritas video there yourself. Now, first, it talks about something really, really ugly about how William Barr is assisting Armstrong Williams in getting visas for billionaires' family members. Billionaires' family members. That little scheme where thousands of dollars were exchanging hands. That whistleblower's got everything. Oh, and she's got burner phones. Yes, she does. She's got burner phones. And the burner phones showed the communications between her and Armstrong Williams. And on Thursday's episode, we're going to talk about how Armstrong Williams has gone so far as to threaten the whistleblower's life after he finds out that she's been talking to the Department of Justice. You can go there and watch it. Do it during the break. It's only 10 minutes long. Donald in the chat room says 0 votes for 2024 Democratic presidential nominee Kamala Harris in Rockland County, New York. Which means what? Which means what? Do you know anybody who lives in Rockland County? Do you know the voting habits of people inside Rockland County? Do you believe there's a likelihood that no one in that town voted for her? What if they all despised her? And if that's the level in which you want to give me a sort of back at you, please explain to me 81 million votes, brother. Just get me down to understand how Joseph R. Biden, a guy who had 47 years in public service, ran for president several times, is known for one of the most bigoted reigns of terror as a senator from Delaware. From the crime bill to not wanting his children to be in a racial jungle, to calling Barack Obama clean and articulate, to working with segregationists, buddying up with the likes of Robert Byrd, how that man managed to get 81 million votes, far more than the Messiah, Barack Hussein Obama. You want to go there? You don't have any answers for that. You're fumbling around right now. Stop it. Stop embarrassing yourself. Oh, yeah, that's right. And a plagiarist. Thank you, Rama. Forgot all about that. Donald says, Reese, you're living in dreamland if you believe she didn't get one single vote in that precinct. I'm living in dreamland? You haven't produced any evidence, genius. It doesn't get to be because you say it does. All I said was, how do you know the voting habits of that county? Have you surveyed them? Did you walk through there? Or do you believe that no one in that town could have possibly not have voted for? Do you know anything about Rockland County? Did you live there? I can think of plenty of regions there. Nobody voted for Kamala Harris. I mean, you probably really think that the entire world looked at Kamala Harris and says, yeah, there's a smart cookie. Yeah, she seems presidential. Yeah, sure. No one ever believed that about Kamala Harris. Why do you think it's so easy for everyone today to pretend like she doesn't exist? In fact, if they were so gung-ho about her, why aren't they just as enthusiastic about her running in 2028? People are all but turning around and saying, nix ixnay on the Kamala Harris. Yeah. And if she was so stunning as a politician, Why is it that the Biden administration, former aides to Joseph R. Biden, are now calling a kill switch on Kamala Harris if she so far or ever dares to criticize Joe Biden should she run for office again and try to separate herself from him? They've already made it clear that if she does so, they will throw, quote, Palin-esque stories about her to the press to damage her politically forever. You didn't know that story? You didn't hear about it? That's why you come here, even as a leftist, because you can't even trust your own folks to tell you the truth. I don't blame you. I'd come here too if I were you. So welcome to the truth, Donald. Here we allow dissent, disagreement, but the only thing that we ask is that you tell the truth. And we're going to get to the bottom of it. We're going to be back in a short while. So let me do what's called a tease in this business. Ladies and gentlemen, on Thursday, I have received that on Thursday, information will drop that former Attorney General under Donald J. Trump, William Barr, set up the RICO case in Georgia with Fani Willis. I'll say again. Former Attorney General William Barr, the man who told Donald Trump that there was no election interference in 2020 and refused to look into it, was responsible for the RICO charges that Fani Willis leveled at Donald Trump in Georgia. The one that got us our infamous mugshot. I'll tell you a little bit about it when we return. Go nowhere. Go nowhere. You either, Donald. Go nowhere. Right now, your head just went, just like, maybe I have the sound. Do I have the sound effects? Here it goes. Yeah, here's your head right now. We'll be back. More news, more views, and more head explosions when we return. It's Reese on the radio on NewsTalk 1080 WTIC.
Hey, it's Steve Parker giving a salute to the broadcaster at 100. Happy birthday, WTIC News Talk 1080.
Stevie, hey, when you're out there, man, let me do your show, man. I haven't done your show in a while. Reese on the radio, WTIC News Talk 1080. I had a lot of fun with Steve the first time I did his show. I'd love to go back. Here's the deal, folks. The swamp's deep. It's ugly. It's dirty. Filthy, even. These people are scavengers. They just are. Now, if you actually took the opportunity to go watch the video by Project Veritas and what they put out, months-long investigation. They have, I think, 3 parts to this story, and part 2 on Thursday is going to make, for me, the most interesting. Not that this particular story wasn't. It was them previewing the story that got me interested when I saw the name Bill Barr. Former Attorney General Bill Barr was involved in this whole scandal in the first part of the video. For those of you who didn't get a chance, let me break it down for you. So Attorney General Bill Barr was working with radio and commentator personality Armstrong Williams. For those of you who know anything about Armstrong Williams, you know that he was caught up in a scandal back in 2005 during the Bush administration. It's very closely tied to that administration. And according to reports, he took some $250,000 to promote No Child Left Behind on his syndicated show. They also report that he got some $900,000 from the education department. I don't know all about that. I just know that's what it was reported. Armstrong Williams was also paid, in essence, to get other African-American broadcasters and journalists, people in the media, to also promote No Child Left Behind. As you all know, that That campaign was quite, controversial, to say the least. But Armstrong Williams, apparently, according to Project Veritas and this whistleblower named Patricia Lelis from Brazil, she's a Brazilian journalist who was hired by Armstrong Williams to work for his media company, was given burner phones so that she could communicate with none other than Attorney General Bill Barr. And what she was doing was assisting Armstrong Williams and Bill Barr, according to her, in getting the parents of a billionaire visas to work for a company that did not exist. Fake cosmetic company. Project Veritas went down to go find the address of alleged cosmetic company. It's never been there. Building has been empty for, months, years even. In fact, the people who do work in the building say it was always empty. No one's ever there. Just stays empty. I guess this is supposed to be used as a physical address in a shell corporation. I don't know. But that's how you would describe it. But what was interesting in this video is that its intro, if you watch it, says Bill Barr and Fannie Willis, a communique between Armstrong Williams and Patricia Lelis, this Brazilian journalist who worked for him, about contacting Bill Barr and Fannie Willis only through the burner phones, which Patricia Lelis still has in her possession. And she has all the communications between the two, herself and Armstrong Williams. If you wait till the end of the video, they actually display some of the exchanges when Armstrong has finally gotten the gist that Patricia Lelis is talking to the DOJ, where he makes a lot of threats. Physical, I might add. But when I contacted Project Veritas, who, by the way, kindly gave me this video early, I got an early screening just so I can watch it before the show. And then they released it an hour later. And I thank them for that. I love my relationship with those guys. It's a long time going, running now. This is what I wrote to them after I watched the video. I wrote, what in the actual freak? Did Barr set up Trump with Fannie? Because the snippet is that quick. I mean, it is that quick. Snap and you will miss it. This was the response I got directly from Project Veritas. Yes. Part 2 will explain more. I wrote next week or when? They wrote likely Thursday. So again, in asking the question, what, Bill Barr set up? Yes. In the video that you will listen to today, you will watch today, because I know you will. It is Bill Barr who comes up with the idea, according to Patricia Lelis, to charge Donald Trump with RICO, because it is, in her words, the most difficult to defend against. That's why it prompted me to ask the question to Project Veritas, and they said, yes, Bill Barr set up Donald Trump. Now, all of you had your problems with Bill Barr. I know you did. Armstrong Williams, you probably didn't even think was a part of this equation. The two of them in cahoots? I wouldn't have guessed it either. But apparently, they were. And this whole scheme and visas and all this other stuff helping out wealthy billionaires, I guess that's redundant. Nonetheless, they were. But the fact that they would get that fool Fannie Willis, and then Fannie Willis would get her paramour, that foolish Nathan Wade, involved as well. I thought the story was over about those two. But Rama remembered, and it looks like I'm going to have to bring it back. Another exciting episode of Willis and Wade. You remember when I used to do that? That was like 2 years ago. They are back, ladies and gentlemen. Willis and Wade are back. And this investigation, God, this could be really ugly for them. Who do you think turned state's evidence first, Willis or Wade? Who you got? I think Willis. I think Willis turned state's evidence. Bill Barr's a bigger fish. I know Nathan, forget about it. He's easy. You know, I think he's nobody in all of this. I don't think he's just a workhorse. I don't think he knows any of the details. But if this young lady, Patricia Lelis, the Brazilian journalist who worked for, Armstrong Williams, if she was going back and forth, texting with Fannie Willis on a burner phone, and she discloses what those communications were about, if she were the liaison being told what to do or how to pursue this case, Bill Barr's a lawyer. He could have been walking her right down that path. He could have been telling her everything that she needed to do. He could have been the silent attorney in all of this, running second chair. I'm just saying, this could be ugly. This is why I said in the opening monologue, all bets are off. Conspiracy theories be damned. You got nothing left. Unless you now want to defend the likes of Bill Barr. If we get this report on Thursday, and again, like I said, Project Veritas, their response, and I'll tell you again exactly what I asked. Did Bill Barr set up Trump with Fannie? The answer was yes. Now, if they have evidence of that, if this young lady can provide evidence of that, what are you going to say then? What are all of you folks going to say then about Donald Trump? What are you all going to say about going after your political enemies? You got nothing to stand on. You got nothing. If you don't join the rest of us to say, sick the dogs on them, drop the weight, the enormous weight of the federal government on those people who literally ran a coup. Not once, not twice, not 3 times. Hell, it may be even safe to say they put Thomas Crooks up to it. Nothing is off the table, ladies and gentlemen. Not a thing. And you don't have anything. I don't care who you are, Donald, be you Tim, anybody. You got nothing. You can't defend this. And I don't want you to. I don't even want you to try. I want you to just call us kooks, like you always do. We warned you from the beginning, and we've been warning you forever. Every one of you, we've been warning you. Keep talking. Keep getting ahead of your skis. Keep telling us we're nut jobs. Right? Keep telling us that you can trust the likes of Rachel Maddow and Joe Scarborough. The likes of CNN and anyone on there. Don Lemon is the pillar of truth and justice. Tell us. Explain to us again why you folks are to be trusted and believed. You can try, but those days are over. I said this before and I'll say it again. The reason why you called us conspiracy theorists is because you couldn't call us liars. Because that's even more egregious. Had you called us liars and it turned out to be true, you'd have no choice but to apologize. Calling us conspiracy theorists gives you an out. But you don't have one now. You know you don't have one now. But folks, I want to say to our side, people who support Donald Trump, or those of you who were questioning the veracity of some of the stuff that you heard, chill for a second. Nobody has to run around patting themselves on the back saying that they were right. That's not the goal. there must be punishment. Those words that drove everybody nuts at the Trump rallies when he said, "I am your retribution," must ring true. He must be our retribution today and every day going forward for the next 3.5 years. We'll be back. We'll take your phone calls and much, much more. Boy, do we got a lot of scandals to drop today. It's Reese on the radio on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Listen to WTIC News Talk 1080 on the free Odyssey app. Download and like WTIC today for alerts on special programming.
The fact that anybody believes that the midterm elections, more than a year away, are in some way in jeopardy is foolish. It's absolutely foolish. Nobody prepares for an election a year and a half, much less the voter. So this idea that anybody is worried about MAGA cultists are going to cry foul when the American people kick us out of office to do what? To ensure that children get mutilated in hospital rooms? To ensure that men play in women's sports? Yeah, I can't wait for people to rush to the polls to go ensure those things so they can subsidize everybody's living expense by raising taxes on millionaires and billionaires and private business owners. Is that what you're talking about? Is that the idea that people are going to be running towards? I still haven't figured out exactly what the platform is. I've only heard Democrats say that Democrats are going to win, but can't name for me one platform position. Which one? You guys couldn't come up with a platform position if you started a year ago. The idea is Trump is the problem. Well, what's the solution? Okay, Trump's lame duck. You take over the House and Senate. What do you do then? Nothing. $10 says you do nothing. You just run around patting yourselves on the back. See, we're back in charge. You'll pass nothing. If you pass a legislation, Donald Trump will veto it, and you don't have 2/3 the vote, and you won't, to overturn it. So what are you talking about? You're never going to win the presidency again. Who are you going to run? Mayor Pete? Perhaps Kamala again. Or greasy Gavin Newsom, huh? And then keep your homes doused with water, at least hoping that he won't set it ablaze. Maybe he won't turn your small little neighborhood into what California is, a place that everybody retreats and moves to a place with clearly better opportunities, jobs, laws, all the good stuff. Just spare me with the Donald Trump being the bad guy is enough for you to win. It isn't. That would imply that everyone who agrees with you is an idiot. Just tell me what you're voting for. Just tell me why you want Democrats to rule the roost. Tell me what policy they are going to, make life affordable for everyone? What was Joe Biden's job then? What did he do for 4 years? Wasn't his job to make the world an affordable place to live? How'd he do? Do you think people are going to go back to 4 years of that nonsense? You think people are going to go back to not being able to pay for baby formula, even find baby formula? Huh? Do you think people are going to deal with the rising cost of everything from eggs to bread to just essentials, not being able to go on vacation, not being able to pay for kids to go to college? Or worse off, how about this? How about their kids no longer having opportunities because that administration that comes into power goes back to the way of making sure that DEI rules the roost? So average kids, the largest population in the country, they can't possibly get their kids into a good college because your party will only double down on policies that ensures people who are going to drop out faster than anybody in the college ranks get there first. You don't have a policy to run on, sir. You know that you're a Democrat. Please don't talk to me about being a cultist. You will vote Democrat blindly like you have your entire life. It's who you are because you think it's who you are. That is the mind of a cult. If somebody asks you the simple question of what do you stand for and you can't answer it and your response is, but Trump, you are a cultist. You can't articulate to any of us who you are, what you stand for, or what you promise or what you want to promise to the American people, other than to subsidize their lives, to take over the means of production, to punish the wealthy, to punish the privileged. The only thing the Democrat Party is here for is to seek revenge. And as I said earlier, it's our turn now. But this time, we're going to do it the right way. We're going to go after the crooks and the criminals, the liars and the cheats. You don't have to like it. Just get used to it. Just get used to it. We'll be back. Headlines have more scandals in them. You don't want to miss this. Tim Walz. Boy, when you find out what they knew about him. Thanks to Judicial Watch. We'll get into that as well. But stick around. We've got the WTIC Newsroom with John Silva coming up, and we'll be back. It's Reese on the Radio on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Reese on the radio, making sense of the news. Yeah, even when it makes no sense at all. Now on WTIC News Talk 1080.
All right, folks, we are back. Telephone calls coming up soon. The number 860-522-WTIC, 860-522-9842. Let me know if you watched the Project Veritas video, if you want to discuss that. Also, I'm working to see if we can get Sean Reyes on the phone. Of course, for those of you who have been following the story, this is the individual who got into the spat, use that term loosely, with Sergeant Fahey, the state trooper. That video went viral. We sent him out an email to see if he would grace the show. We're going to wait and see whether or not he will respond and get him on the program as well. Also, later on in the week, we've got Project Veritas coming on the program, and we're going to talk to Senator Rob Sampson. But before we do that, I want to make something abundantly clear about his presence on the show that I need to clarify, because he will be joining the program too. And I want to tell you about a conversation I had with his office about his appearance here. So I want you to know about that. Also, anyway, with that, let's get into some news. All right, headlines we are tracking here at Reese on the Radio. Documents obtained by Judicial Watch via a FOIA request revealed that the Biden administration was fully aware of concerns about vice presidential candidate Tim Walz and his Chinese ties. Emails and chat logs from the Department of Homeland Security viewed Walz as a, quote, long-term asset cultivated by the Chinese Communist Party. According to that report, and I have some of the stuff here, this was, they said, specific ties that were highlighted. The discussions referenced that Walz's year teaching in Guangdong province in 1989, coinciding with the Tiananmen Square massacre, and note celebrations on Chinese social media that said that his VP nomination would, quote, be something that they were happy about, that they considered it a good thing to have someone like him possibly in Washington. They also said that, quote, if anyone has interest, I can give and provide context in a classified setting. But this has more of a strategic impact than obviously the general public knows. These are some of the things that they knew about Tim Walz while America was vetting him to possibly be the vice president of the United States. Turns out the Department of Homeland Security knew about all of this, and they were investigating chatter in China on social media pages that were celebrating his nomination. Yeah. Go figure, huh? Go figure. Weirdly enough. As you heard in the top of the hour news, the House Oversight Committee has issued subpoenas to compel testimony of individuals related to the Epstein files. We have the list and the dates because they couldn't get into it in the news break. We got former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton on October 9th, former President Bill Clinton on October 14th, former U.S. Attorney General Merrick Garland on October 2nd, former FBI Director James Comey on October 7th, former U.S. Attorney, as we already mentioned, Bill Barr on August 18th. That's coming up soon. Former U.S. Attorney General Alberto Gonzales. He'll be there August 26th. For those of you who may not remember who he was working with, that was the Attorney General under George W. Bush. Former Attorney General Jeff Sessions on the 28th of August under Trump. Director Robert Mueller of the Mueller Report on September 2nd. Former U.S. Attorney General Loretta Lynch under Obama, and also Eric Holder under Obama. They have all been subpoenaed to testify to the Epstein files. And I would imagine the reason why they're bringing them in is to ask them, hey, you had access to all of this info. Why not reveal it or review it? Also noting that in an effort to stop Donald Trump in 2016, why not use it? Good point. We also have other breaking news on this front. Representative Anna Paulina Luna has confirmed that burn bags found by Kash Patel's FBI contain Jeffrey Epstein evidence. The FBI is now under investigation for destroying critical documents. In another story that's also related to this, it is, and I just had it, Ghislaine Maxwell is opposing the unsealing of her and Jeffrey Epstein's grand jury transcripts, even though we know that a judge has already said that we're not going to release those. This may be something that you may have shared or you may have heard about, but I'm here to clear it up. A viral post suggested that a parental activist group, Moms for Liberty, has been labeled an anti-government extremist group, and they were a part of the Connecticut Police Department's, instructions to treat them as such. That is not the case. The Connecticut police has not been informed that Moms for Liberty was some sort of threat in any way. However, according to a FOIA request by Daily Wire, they found out that the Southern Poverty Law Center, SPLC, and a PBS article describing the Moms of Liberty as using parents' rights to target public education issues, they were put in as a threat by the Massachusetts Municipal Police Training Manual that they have been put in. So it's in Massachusetts. It's not in Connecticut as reported online. All right? And last but not least, our stupidest thing I've read today.
Yes, you do. Stupid as can be.
This could very well be the stupidest person on the face of the earth.
After plenty of attempts to contact the Bethel Police Department, a small department, I have received no response with regards to this story. State Representative Rahib Ali Brennan says that he's seen an uptick in threatening messages made against him since the news of his arrest for two alleged shoplifting incidents broke earlier this summer. Brennan, a Democrat who represents Bethel and Danbury, was charged twice with shoplifting. Since then, he says he's increasingly received threatening messages, including some that say that he has crossed the line. I contacted Bethel, as I did anywhere and everywhere that I could, and they have not released the items he is alleged to have stolen. Now, I got to be honest with you, folks. The reason why I'm calling this stupid, one, is because he thinks that he's getting death threats or telling people that we're supposed to believe he's getting death threats because he was shoplifting. I mean, are there people out there who are threatening his life because he stole Preparation H? Come on, knock it off. Please don't tell people this nonsense story. Don't make yourself a victim, okay? In this case, whatever you did, if you did it, get help, deal with your case, but just get help. Do not try to draw on the sympathy of others. It's stupid for you to release this statement, and the fact that anybody would report on it makes them just as stupid. But I find it odd that the Bethel police, in their police report, have refused to make known what he's accused of stealing or shoplifting. They have to be in the police report. We know they're in the police report. Why are they being so hush-hush? By the way, if anybody knows, please contact Reese on the radio immediately. Go to reeseontheradio.com. If you know what he is alleged to have stolen or what they said he walked out of the Target without paying for, please let me know. Now, I know some people are going to be joking and they're going to be writing a whole bunch about it. If you really know, let me know. Because I find it odd that it wasn't a part of the story. He says he walked out because he was grabbing some stuff for his ailing grandmother. Okay. I've seen it happen. I've actually walked off with somebody's pen at a counter. Doesn't mean I was stealing it. It just means that I'm a kleptomaniac. I mean, no, it just means that I forget when I put things in my hand like that. Pens are the worst. I know there's some people out there who do that too. I'm not the only one. I'm notorious for it. At least I can own up to it. But I'm dying to find out exactly what it was that he stole or shoplift, allegedly. And let us know why they keep it in under wraps. So those are your headlines. Let's get to the phones. Ken is in Meriden. How are you, sir?
I'm good. How you doing, Reese?
I'm all right. What's up?
Hey, going back to the subpoenas that were issued.
Yeah.
What do you think the over-under is going to be that we hear a lot of under advice from my lawyer? I plead, what is it that they say?
Oh, the Fifth Amendment privilege.
The Fifth Amendment, yeah. I'm asserting my privilege of the Fifth Amendment.
I can tell you beyond the shadow of a doubt, I can see on this, I can go with 1, 2, 3, possibly 4 people who assert their Fifth Amendment privilege. Do you want to know who they are?
Yeah.
Okay, let's start from the people who aren't headliners to the headliners. I'll go with this.
Okay.
Fifth Amendment privilege will come from Eric Holder.
Yep.
Loretta Lynch.
Yep.
James Comey.
Definitely.
And Bill Clinton.
Ooh.
I do not think Hillary, because Hillary, I think what she'll say under oath is that she knows nothing. Because I don't think there's an implication. I think all of the questions towards Hillary will be about her husband's affairs, right? In essence, you can't really grill her. No matter how much people don't like Hillary Clinton, you can't really go after her because, in essence, her husband was having an affair on her. So you kind of have to treat her with kid gloves in that scenario.
And that's actually, you're looking at, what do they call that in court?
That's right. That's right.
Testify against the husband.
Indeed, you are 100% right. I totally forgot about that, but that makes a huge point. So Hillary Clinton, there'll probably be some questions related to, hey, because I really do believe this. If you get Hillary Clinton under oath on October 9th, I believe that most of the probes, even though it's about Jeffrey Epstein, I believe that many Republicans will ask questions about Crossfire Hurricane, the Russia probe, and, of course, the Steele dossier.
Yeah. Now, correct me if I'm wrong there, and I don't remember where I heard it, but I heard somewhere somebody said because, and I think it was regarding Obama, that because he's no longer in the president, presidential immunity doesn't apply to him.
Okay, I'm glad you asked. I did talk about this a couple of days ago. So here's where the problem lies. And I'm hoping, and I say problem, I mean for President Obama. Here's where the problem lies. So what I would do if I'm Pam Bondi and I'm convening a grand jury, I can ask or subpoena people to testify even though they are not going to be charged with a crime because they are material to the evidence I wish to produce at trial. They are character witness. They are fact-based witnesses, fact witnesses. So I subpoena Barack Obama to come in and testify to the grand jury as to what he knows in the events that took place in his Oval Office meeting with everybody in his intelligence apparatus, right? I bring him in. Now, because he has presidential immunity as granted by the Supreme Court, he cannot plead the Fifth because nothing he says can incriminate him or make him subject to any crime, right?
Right.
Now, here's where it becomes calamity for Barack Obama. Because he can't plead the Fifth, he must testify. And if he lies, immunity is gone. He can be charged with lying while he is no longer a sitting president because he has immunity in his actions as a president, as a civilian. If he lies under oath in a grand jury, there he can be prosecuted. So he must tell the truth.
That cleared it up. Because I heard that, and I don't remember if I heard it from you or if I heard it somewhere else, but I heard somewhere along the lines that was the case.
Yes, and it has to be because, remember, he is no longer operating in his official capacity as president of the United States. So he is compelled to answer every question he is given at the grand jury, and they have the evidence in front of him. So what he's there to do, if I'm Pam Bondi and I'm convening a grand jury, I'm going to ask Barack Obama everything I know to be true in that dossier, like in that report. Did you indeed do this, that, in the third? Did you collude with this, that, and the third? Did you ask for this particular assessment after you learned the former assessment had no allegations of Donald Trump with the Russians? Did you then convene intelligence to, at your behest for Comey and Brennan and Clapper to come up with a new assessment to do this? Barack Obama's got nothing to lose, so he's got to go in there and say, yes, I did. But if he says no and they have evidence that says otherwise, you lied, you perjured yourself, you're in a slammer. It's that simple.
Right. And one last thing before I let you go.
Yes.
I saw it, and I tried to go back to check it. I heard, with Trump trying to get rid of DEI out of the government.
Yeah.
That what he's trying to do is he's going to start sending DEI hires to protect Hillary, Bill, Barack, Biden, and family. And this is the way I heard it, was that they don't want that. They want, the A-team to guard them.
Yes.
But if he does that and they don't want it, well, the DEIs are gone. Okay, you're fired.
That's a real,
I'm
you know what?
to find out if that's true or not.
I'm not going to lie. I don't know if it's true or not. I will look into it. But if it is, boy, is that brilliant. Because it's in essence, it's giving them a taste of their own medicine from what we found out, what took place in Butler on July 13th. Right? We turned out that this guy got the worst of the worst. People who are absolutely inept protecting a presidential candidate. You turn the tables and you say, I'm in charge of your Secret Service detail. Let's see how you like it.
Right.
So, that would be a brilliant move. Yeah, I'll look into that and see what I can find out.
All right. Take care, Reese.
You got it, Ken. Much appreciated, sir. You want to talk about driving them through the roof and then getting the media in on it. I can't believe that he would bring these inexperienced people to protect Bill Clinton and Barack Obama. Like, oh, well, I thought you said we needed DEI. Oh, boy. I'm not lying. That would be some of the craziest stuff ever. To just take every one of their ridiculous, silly rules and throw it back in their face. Donald, you can't stop yourself. He writes, newsflash, Tim Walz is not running again. Move on. No. Do you understand what you expose when you say that? When you say move on, do you know what that means? You're backed into a corner. You're embarrassed and you're ashamed. What you should be is outraged, but you can't muster. That's the act of someone in a cult. You're so tethered to Tim Walz, you can't even admit that if this guy was associated with the Communist Party of China, that you should say, no, that's wrong. But instead you defend him by telling the rest of us move on. Spare me cultist nonsense. That's the actions of a cult. He can do no wrong. Move on. Nothing to see here. He ain't running again. Leave him alone, Reese. No. As we say in the hood, put an H on your chest and handle it. We're coming for you. It's Retribution Day. We'll be back. More news, more views. Go nowhere. It's Reese on the radio on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Fan of WTIC? Then do us a favor. Download the free Odyssey app and favorite WTIC.
I've got something for Hollywood news that I thought was insane, but we'll debate it in the 5 o'clock hour. So stand by for that. With of course so much more that we wish to get into. 860-522 WTIC is the number. We'll also talk about the Connecticut Green Bank. I was doing some investigating yesterday because I promised I was going to get to the bottom of this story, and it is so insane how much money the Connecticut Green Bank has. And the only numbers I have available, recent numbers, are from fiscal 2023. And the amount of money that the Connecticut Green Bank has at its disposal is astronomical. In 2023, they got over $400 million of your money. Fiscal year 2023. And I tried to get, like, what's the deal? How much money did they get from private donors? Try over $2 billion. Which it makes you ask the question, what do they need your money for? We'll get into it. We'll break it down. And then the stuff that they're doing goes right to my whole deal about what happened to Connecticut and the whole green energy stuff and the whole, environmentalist nonsense. Connecticut Green Bank, not only what they're doing is just absolutely so insane, but the legislature voted for it and allows them to do it. And that's to pollute the air. So we'll talk about that in a little bit. Let's get to the phones. 860-522-WTIC. What's up, Mark? How are you, sir?
Hey, well, I heard Rob Sampson's coming on, one of my favorite public elected officials. What's your topic? I'd love for you to shoehorn in.
I am so glad. I'm so glad.
What are you going to talk about?
I'm so glad you called in, because you're the perfect person for me to talk about this in my conversation with his office. So let me lay out what happened. I was contacted. They wanted to get in contact with me. They wanted to bring Rob on the program. And I was like, okay, I didn't know who it was who was reaching out. They reached out to Joey first. I contacted them. I got in touch with them to find out what the deal was. And sure enough, they had interest in coming onto the program. Okay. So I listened for a little bit, and I'm not going to lie, I didn't really see any interest. I didn't have any. And I kind of said to myself in listening, let me fix my chair here. In listening, I went, okay, it's an all right conversation, but my show is a little more energized than what I was getting. And it may be important to his office or even to Republicans in the state, but I wasn't feeling it. And I'm not passionate. I'm not phoning it in. I'm just not. So here's what I did. I said, and I made this abundantly clear, before anybody comes on my show from the Republican Party in Connecticut, several things must be done. And that's one, they've got to start addressing the things that are important to Connecticut Republicans. They have to start releasing statements. They have to start writing letters. We have to see them actively responding to the things that matter to us. The fact that we only got...
Are you talking about maybe being physically at these
No.
places,
Well,
like the
I
first
went...
conference for DQuad,
I
like
went...
that?
Yes, I went this far. And again, I'm an honest broker, and that's why I'm glad you're here. So here's what I said, and I gave some examples to his office. I said, although it was great to have 2 Republicans write a letter about what was happening at the Metropolitan Community Church of Hartford, although it was great to have 2 senators speak up and talk about, DEEP and what they're doing with DQuad. But the fact that we cannot get a letter with every member of the Republican caucus, every member of the Republican Party in Connecticut to sign off on that letter is not a representation of the people in Connecticut. You've got people in Connecticut fighting DEEP, EPA, and the Army Corps of Engineers to keep this poison out of the water. It was nice for them to send a letter, but we need to see that there is a coalition with Republicans who are in the House and Senate, as well as the people who are protesting and putting their bodies on the line, fighting this stuff back. That's got to be done. So if there's going to be a conversation on this show, it can't be about what you'd like to do. It's about what you're doing that's actually affecting and important to the listeners of WTIC and specifically to Reese on the radio.
I love it. And you know what? They're so fragmented. The analogy I use are the gangs. Like when I grew up in Hartford, there was less than a dozen gangs, big ones. Los Solitos, Love 20. And now there's a gang for every street. There's like, if you look it up, it's something crazy, like 60 gangs.
Wow.
In Hartford alone.
60? Hartford's not even big enough for 60 gangs. You're breaking up, buddy.
Oh.
No, there you go. Go ahead. What'd you say?
Okay. So what I'm saying is it kind of reminds me of the Republican Party. There was a period when they were all together.
Yeah.
It was one team, one gang.
Right.
And now they're too fragmented. And they're all looking for FaceTime and sound bites.
Right.
And, the one thing is I reached out to Rob, Senator Hardy, all of them for just a few weeks ago, that press conference on DQuad. And I said, at least an RTC leader, a chairman from one of the local RTCs show up. Nobody got back to me because I did the same thing when I told you Blumenthal and Murphy came to West Hartford.
Yeah.
I looked for just one of them to come. And they all ignored me again. What I find funny is they're out and about for when it's election time, but in between that, try to get a hold of one of them.
But I will.
They got to you, but nobody returned my message.
Let me say, first of all, I didn't reach out to them. They reached out to me. But I do want to point.
No. Okay.
I want to point this out, and I think that what you're on to is a very important thing. But I want to give some context to this, and I want to use Matt Caron. You and I both know him. Formerly of Fox 61. He's got his own media venture now. But Matt Caron said this to me, and I think this isn't like I'm not telling tales out of school. But when I had about an hour-long conversation with him about what he's doing. And he said something that blew my mind, but I already kind of knew. And that was Republicans in Connecticut send out hundreds of press releases a year. And they are ignored by the Connecticut media. They just don't care. They don't answer to them.
How do you not get ignored, though? But then, so they're...
Oh, no. I agree with you.
When you show up physically, if you showed up... Let me tell you, if some Republicans went there, don't interrupt the press conference. Let Blumenthal and Alicia, whoever's there, let them all do their thing. But you know that you being there, they would have taken a soundbite, a comment from you.
Right.
They can't sit at Capitol Avenue in Hartford and provide, the low-hanging fruit issues, whether it's tolls or something else. That's too easy.
I know. You know what? And it's a good point that you make, because what I would have done in that case, like let's take that situation in West Hartford with Blumenthal and Murphy. When they showed up at that event while everybody was piling in and obviously had advance notice to the event and been there, here's what I would have done. I would have gotten about 10, maybe even 15 Republicans, House and Senate. I would have gotten the biggest names I possibly could, and I would have waited at the end of that event outside. So when the news media starts piling out, they see that group of people standing there waiting to give their rebuttal and make sure that ended up on the evening news right after. Forget a press conference because you know that's going to be ignored. And when I say, look, and most people would say, well, Reese, why would you pull that stunt? It's not a stunt. You hold a press conference to counter what's being said without rebuttal in those events.
Reese, I got to interrupt you.
Yeah.
When I presented that to Rob on Tom Shattuck, when I said that, because that was my intent, I tried to set it up ahead of time.
Right.
He actually mocked me. Oh, what am I going to go out there? What do you think I'm going to heckle? No, I don't want you to heckle. I don't need you with a MAGA hat on. Come on, use your common sense. He knew what my intent was, reaching out to him and the others, but he wanted to make it sound like, oh, I'm not going to join you.
I think that there's a possibility.
With your mega horns.
Look, I'll be honest with you. I really do believe this. And again, I slight no one by making this point. I really do believe this from the bottom of my heart. I really don't think that there are a lot of so-called media-savvy people in politics. I had to express to them, to his office, the guy who gave me a call when I had a conversation with him, and that's why I said I had a long conversation. I was long-winded. But I said to him, I gave him my credentials, how I used to work for public relations for DMX and Dionne Warwick, and how long I had been in that game and working PR. And he was surprised because I said, look, I don't think that people who are in politics know exactly. It's not as simple as sending out a press release. If they don't listen, they don't. So in some ways, you've got to make them respond. So if I'd have shown up there as a politician and brought a couple of my constituents as well as other colleagues in the Senate or in the House, they're outside that event and just placed a podium waiting for the press to come out so I can rebut Chris Murphy and Blumenthal, that would have made the news that night.
It would have been beautiful.
Exactly.
Now, listen, I'll let you go. If you can shoehorn this in,
yeah.
Ask him if he gets any health benefits and how good the plan is. 'Cause that's another thing we
That's a
gotta
big
touch
deal
upon
with a lot of
tonight.
people here. I will get into that, I promise.
Okay, thank you.
You got it, boss. No, it's a good point. That has been a bone of contention for a lot of people screaming and hollering for health care benefits for everybody. But the truth is, again, it's not, look, some people follow the directive, right? They follow the template that's been handed to them. This is the way in which you do business. And I will say this, if I can, mention a guy like Ben Proto, I know that Proto's biggest problem with Donald Trump is the fact that he has a way of sucking all the oxygen out of the room that's against the norms. It's against the decorum that many people in politics are used to. Right? He has completely kicked over that apple cart in the way in which you do business in politics. The way you get your name out of there. Get out there. And people are nervous about that because, one, they don't know how to do it. And two, when they try, they do it in such a haphazard way and they trip over themselves and they look silly and they're not really prepared for that kind of the kind of response that they'll get from that. The news media is savvy. They've gotten used to dealing with Trump. But they haven't gotten used to me yet. See, Trump's thing is unique to Trump, as is my tactics are unique, because I understand exactly how these people work and what makes it work for them. Ask yourself a question. Why are they no longer interested in getting the stories that are important to you? Because their business model won't make that profitable for them. They don't care. And not only that, they're in bed with a lot of people. Their model is being in bed with people, having access. And for them, having access, they need access to the people who have power. And in Connecticut, it's the Democrat Party. Republicans don't wield any power, so they don't have to care. You have to make them care. And that's why you have to go through all the text. You have to make yourself noticeable to the pretty girl who usually would never pay you any mind. That's what you got to do. We'll come back. We'll take more of your phone calls. We'll get to some traffic and weather with Jason Caterina and Mark Christopher in the BPS Traffic Center. But But go nowhere. It's Reese on the radio on WTIC News Talk 1080.
It's Reese on the radio. Ask your doctor if common sense is right for you. On News Talk 1080 WTIC.
All right, folks, we are back. Let's get to another phone call, 860-522-WTIC. What's going on, Jim?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. A couple of days ago, you were talking about the Sydney Sweeney ad.
Yes.
And all the backlash. You know, I don't know if anybody brought it up on your show. I didn't hear, but about 25, 30, 35 years ago, maybe even 40, you had a 12-year-old Brooke Shields, who was supposed to be in a movie, living in a prostitute's home, and the whole premise of the movie was that basically she was going to be sold off as a 12-year-old.
That movie, it's so crazy you brought that up. I was just telling my wife about inappropriate films that came out in the 70s, from Midnight Cowboy to Alfie with, what's his name, with Michael Caine, and the film you're talking about called, is it Pretty Baby?
Pretty Baby.
Pretty Baby, which stars Brooke Shields and a not very well-known Susan Sarandon as her mother.
That's correct. And there was, right, and there was basically, well, you know the premise. We don't have to go in it. But the connection with the jeans ad did, there's a big hoopla. Bottom line is the judge went to court. The judge said she could be in the movie, blah, 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 blah. That turned into a 16-year-old, Brooks, 15 or 16-year-old Brooke Shields doing another movie. I forgot the name of it, but basically she was on a desert island with her brother or something.
I can't remember what the name of that was, but what I think Atkins was the kid. Was it Christopher Atkins who played her love interest in that movie?
Right.
Yeah, two kids who were were stranded on a desert island. I can't remember the name of that damn movie.
Yeah, right, and that turned into Brooke Shields basically making a jeans ad.
Yep.
I think they were Calvin Klein.
They were Calvin Klein's.
And it was an absolute sensation. She put those jeans. She made hundreds of millions of dollars for Calvin Klein, and there was a big hoopla about the tagline in that one as well.
Well, yes, because it was the same premise that American Eagle kind of stole from the Calvin Klein ad. It was about having good jeans.
That's exactly what it was. I mean, if you compare those ads. All it is a refresh. That's all it is. And then, of course, the way they shot it was somewhat different.
I love the fact that I will tell you this. Let me interrupt you, Jim. I will tell you this. I love this audience, and I love my chat room. Raymond in Queens writes in the chat room, the name of the film, Blue Lagoon. Why would I forget that?
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, and I guess the tie-up, so I can get off the air here, is that more outrageous, slanderous things about Americans or in this country than the media, and I don't know how many politicians. We don't even have to name them. And when you try to tell me that Trump's the worst thing that ever happened, that Trump is the person who said the worst things is the media, it's absolute BS.
I know. Like I said, I can't even listen to these knuckleheads. It was really, really brand new in 2016. But now I would even say some of the charges were at least original in 2020. Now it's a wrap.
Can I add one more short thing?
Real quick.
I don't have to like Trump. I don't care that he's bombastic. I don't care about any of it. I was told for 30 years that I should pay no attention to the personal life of politicians, and that all started with the Clintons.
That's correct.
All I care about with the politicians is what's your policy, what you're doing for the country. And Trump, by leaps and bounds, has done more for this country in the past 100 years than I don't know how many past presidents.
Even CNN admits that, my friend. Thank you, Jim. Let's get our first check of weather and traffic with Jason Katerina and Mark Christopher, who's back in the BPS Traffic Center. Not that he went anywhere, but he's back. Hey, Mark.
Thanks, Reese. Hey.
It's Reese on the radio. And don't say we didn't warn you on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
Is it time to do the thing? Oh, yeah, it's time to do the thing.
Savory, flavory, bagel, deli, and bakery. Between rounds.
Between rounds.
Between rounds. Between rounds.
I'll tell you, the one thing that always drives me crazy is that I have to put things in a calendar, and I got a meeting on Thursday, and I have to put it in a calendar to remind me. I got another scheduled event tomorrow at 9 o'clock, and I got to make sure that I'm up for that. And I got to put all these schedules and reminders everywhere. So I have to do the same thing with between rounds. Not that I forget. It's just I have to make sure that I remember. And I do everything I'm supposed to. I keep my memory fit. But we got congratulations going out to James B. of Burlington, Connecticut. He is our current winner of the Between Rounds dozen bagels a month for 6 months, courtesy of Between Rounds, the Bagel Bakery and Sandwich Cafe, located in South Windsor, Vernon, and Manchester. If you would like to win or a chance to win, you got to go to reeseontheradio.com. That's REESE on the radio.com, and you got to enter there, put in everything from your telephone number to your birth date, and then we will send you an email that comes directly from me. The email comes directly from me to let you know that you won, and then you can join us here at about 4:05 every weekday afternoon where I announce the winner. But you got to go to reeseontheradio.com. Now, I'm going to say this not because I'm desperate. It's going to sound desperate, and I heard it in my head. I went, you're going to sound desperate. But you know me, I don't listen to my head. I'm just one of those people who just says what's on my mind sometimes. And I'm guilty of saying things that, wearing my heart on my sleeve. I will admit, I do. But I'm saying this because I'm dead serious. This is important. Just go to reeseontheradio.com and just put your name in there. Just go there. I would like to gauge how many people, and I know a lot of you have entered. Trust me, I got a stack of you. But I would like to gauge how many people are listening to the show, because I know that you don't call all the time. I get that. That's one of the one things I get all the time. When I meet with you folks, or I'll talk to you privately, you'll send me news stories and send me your telephone number, and we'll talk off the air. They always begin by saying, hey, Reese, I'm so-and-so. I don't call. And I'm not sure why. And it is cool that you don't. I get it. You just listen. That's fantastic. I love the fact that you say it, because it lets me know, there are more people listening than, just the folks who call. But just send us a message. Go to reeseontheradio.com. Let us know that you listen to the show. Enter the contest. Let us know you're there. Give us some acknowledgement that you're out there by going to reeseontheradio.com. Okay? Just say, hey, Reese, just wanted to say hi. So we know that you're out there. Because I want to give you a shout-out. Let you know you're there. Let you know that I know you're there.
I'm Tom O'Hanlon, and you're listening to Reese on the Radio on WTIC News Talk 1080.
That's my man, Tom O'Hanlon. His name says so much more. That guy, he's got to be a news anchor. Tom O'Hanlon with Action News. And he just should be. Do we have a picture of him? Can we get a picture of Tom O'Hanlon? And see if there's some place that we have a picture of him rolling?
I could check.
Okay, I got to show him some love. If not, text him. Text him and say, send us an 8x12. Don't autograph it. Tom will probably say, does he want an autograph photo of me? No, Tom. I know how tempted you are to do it. I'm teasing. I love Tom O'Hanlon. And thank you for doing that, Tom, from the bottom of my heart. We'll get into the Connecticut Green Bank thing in a minute. Let's go to Fred in Middletown. How are you, sir? By the way, Fred, before you say anything, my wife just walked into the office and said to me, what do you think about Middletown as some place to move to? What do you think?
Okay.
Fuck no.
I mean, you could do a lot worse. There's a lot going on here. It's got all the appeal in the world.
Okay.
I love it here. I don't see myself ever leaving. You might very well thrive here. I could say that.
Right.
I never leave Middletown, so I can't compare it to anywhere
else.
It's one of the better places on earth. And I guess I heard somewhere that some magazine, spitting about where to go to, said Middletown is like top of the pop.
I did see that. I saw that article. Yeah. And it's interesting because I've been there when I lived there in 2004. We visited Middletown for a little while. In fact, I've been to Middletown. Now that I think about it, I've been there at least 3 times. I went to a nightclub in Middletown twice, and then we went to go visit some listener that the host was, trying to visit. It was a long story. I don't really want to get into that. Anyway, but we went there, and one thing that I noticed about it and why I fell in love with it was that it was nothing but trees everywhere. And being from New York, that's a rarity. And it just felt so Connecticut. It was just one of those things. Maybe my naivete.
It's like 250 square miles. It's vast, and there's still lots of trees, and there's Moromis. We're just speaking of the Army Corps of Engineers in Daiquat. They put in a base somewhere around here, and they wanted to go there, like one of the last pristine places in New England. And they were like, let's go there. So they found someplace else.
Right.
The whole town rallied. It's that kind of place, by the by, people get.
Well, that's okay. You know what? I get to reintroduce myself to the state of Connecticut, which I'm going to do a crap load of when I get there. But I do want to say this. This is another thing. Middletown was the second place she mentioned. The first thing she said was, what do you think of Waterbury? I went, no.
No, yeah. There's less trees on Middletown, on Main Street than there were in 04, man. Some
right. I can imagine.
Pro boner for trees.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, trees are ka-ching. But I only had a few little trivialities.
Anyway.
We spend a bit of time speaking to Donald. Is that Don in East Hartford?
If you're referring to someone who sings reggae, yes.
Yes. Oh, my God. He used to call Todd all the time.
Yes.
He took me to task for when that coach didn't want to go to the Lakers.
Well, Donald is only called once, and Donald was the one who expressed on the air that his wife told him, if the man aggravates you so much, why you listen?
Oh, my God. Well, you've explained that many times.
Which I love because, look, his wife is never going to understand his interest in this show. She's being practical and pragmatic in all of this. She's the one saying to herself, why would you listen to a man who drives you crazy?
Well, he used to call Feinberg every day, yeah. I referred to the Lakers. I go, yeah, he don't want to go out there. They're all gangbangers. He took me to task. And Todd was like, what? Spell it. Bangers. Anyway, that. Now, you bringing back Willis and Wader in the news again. You're playing the period music, and I'm thinking bring back the period phrase of Fanny, what you talking about, Willis?
Oh, yes, that's right. I totally forgot about that. Fred, thank you. Fanny, what you talking about, Willis, was a great name. Yeah. I forgot that. Yeah, it's been 2 years.
Every time I heard it, it never got tired.
I appreciate it. Right. And, of course, thank you. I appreciate you, Fred. Now, of course, everybody is in the chat room going nuts about where to move. Let me read a couple. By the way, Joe, thank you so much. Much appreciated. Y'all's says Middletown trash, New Britain all day. Michael A. says, Reese, come to Burlington and live with the Bears. Only 15 minutes from the TIC studio. Okay, I will tell the wife. Burlington does sound great. Let me see. What else? Matt says that it's my wife who wants the autograph from Tom O'Hanlon, not me. She loves his voice. She is all over that voice. Russell says was listening on audio on Odyssey right now. I'm listening on 1080 because my phone was freezing up for some reason. But Russell's listening to the show. Much appreciated, Russell. I appreciate you. And Joe says, I listen every day on WTIC. Love your show. No BS. Thank you, Joe. Much appreciated from you as well. Eric says, I'm sorry, this is somebody else. Kathy says, I'm almost always listening. I don't call in because I'm not that intelligent. That's not nice. You're fine. Vince says, always listening. E. Strakowski, I think that's right. Middlefield, way better, he says in the chat room. And Fritz, the cat who I love, by the way, tell me how Chrissy's doing. I miss her. He says move to Bristol. I thought about Bristol. I kind of feel like is that too far from where I don't want it. If I can put it to you anyway, and maybe this is going to sound horrible. I know I told this story before. I don't drive anywhere that's longer than 4 songs. It's just the way I am. If I've got to travel somewhere, if I listen to more than 4 songs, it's too much. If for a commute, it's too far. When I ran my U-Haul here, it's 7 minutes to drive there. 7, 8 at best. When I worked at U-Haul in Northern Virginia, 7 minutes. I don't like the commute. I don't. I don't want to be sitting in my car fighting with traffic and fighting with other people in traffic. I don't. I need quick, fast, in a hurry. Carmela says, I'm always here multitasking. God love you, because I can't do that. Matt says, my house is in Bristol, was 10 minutes away from the Farmington studio. Okay, 10 minutes, not bad. Plainville, Douglas says, okay, loving that. Oh, man, I'll get to that in a second. South Windsor, Susan says, Susan says. Brandon L. says, Tim from Hamden would welcome you with open arms. Come to Hamden. Yes, he would. Somebody, I was telling you guys yesterday that he went on my Facebook page and read my article in Substack about the Connecticut Sun and how Connecticut has changed its ways from being environmentalists and standing up for all of these liberal things, and then they've abandoned them because of Trump. And he wrote something on my Facebook page on the article, called it a rambling mess or some nonsense like that. And so I said, what's wrong? Tim, you miss me or something? And somebody wrote underneath that, are you two breaking up? Which I thought was great. And no, we're not breaking up. I love Tim. He's never going anywhere. He is ride or die. He is staying with me forever. He can never, ever break up with me. Ever. He is addicted. He is injected with hatred for Reese on the radio. And it's love. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. Love, hate, thin line. Christina says, just moved to Farmington. Unionville section is lovely and tons of trees. Yeah, I don't know. Now don't get me wrong. I have a deathly fear of trees. I just like neighborhoods with trees. I'll explain. I don't like trees hovering over my house. Why? In the event of a storm or a lightning strike, that son of a gun's coming down on you. You know it, right? I don't want that. But I want a neighborhood that has trees. Why? Simple. The fall. The spring and the fall are my two favorite times of the year. Fall more so than the spring. I love jacket weather, and I love trees turning different colors. There's something about it it is something about the New England air, which may be compromised with the way in which they're burning trash in the state. But the New England air has always given me a sense of, wow. And I will tell you this. It's where the Christmas smell lives. Christmas in New England is like no other place in the world. You know it, and I know it. I am not telling tales out of school. It is the best. I'm not telling it. I'm not fabricating. It is the best feeling ever to be in New England during Christmas. The Christmas smell exists. The lights, the roads, the atmosphere, all of it, even the cold, all of it is perfect. It is picturesque. It's Norman Rockwell. It's normal. It feels normal. And that's the reason why I love it. It just is. Let's go to Dave in Branford. How are you, sir?
Hello, Reese.
Hey, what's up?
I want to do a little right-wing environmentalism. It won't take very long. I hope it doesn't sound too preachy. But
not at all.
You have made a good point about the dicot in the river to show that we Republicans actually care about the environment.
Always have.
So yesterday I'm riding up Route 1 in Branford, and a strip mall on the side of Route 1 where the grass is burned to a crisp.
Wow.
Because there's no trees. It's very hot. It's very dry.
Right.
And a commercial landscaping business on a device the size of a golf cart, professional fertilizer and pesticide applicator. It's really huge, so it spreads a lot.
Sure.
And as you drive by, it stinks. And it was the phenoxy weed-killing herbicide. I recognize the smell.
Wow.
And it's just it's not a warning. It's advice to all the listeners. The grass is burned to a crisp. The herbicides, the fertilizer does nothing. It makes the grass burn worse. The fertilizer steals the moisture right out of the grass.
That's right.
You're burning it to a crisp. August is not a good time to spread fertilizer and weed killer. And the lawn services, of course, make money by generating service. And so it's August. There's not a lot of grass growing. Hey, let's spread some fertilizer. We got time to do it. And so that's my advice. If you're at all concerned about too much chemicals in the environment, and don't spread it when a hurricane's coming either. You don't want too much water.
That's right.
And all the but you know what? The birds eat these little particles because they're looking for food.
Right.
It's hot and dry, and that's the reason I called.
No, it's absolutely brilliant.
Get it out.
I hope you get to hear this expose I'm doing on the Connecticut Green Bank, which again it laughs in the face of this environmental stuff that they're alleged to be doing.
I heard you promote it.
Yeah.
I heard you promote it, but of course I don't know what it's about because you didn't play it yet.
That's okay.
We get a bad knock, us and Republicans, that we don't care about the environment. We'll poison everyone to death to make a buck, and it's nowhere near. It's nowhere near that. We're very often scientific, and we want the best thing for everyone. We don't just pick the worst wart, on a product and say, well, it's no better than the worst thing it could possibly do, and say, yeah, but that almost never happens.
Yep.
Why would we throw out the good? Because of that one bad. But you know what? You shouldn't be fertilizing your lawn in August.
Yeah, it's like the hottest month of the year. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate you. You got it. Yeah, speaking of which, so when we come back, let me give you a couple of details on this, and I'll break this whole thing down to you. So apparently there was a House bill that allowed this to happen. This House bill sort of made it possible to burn garbage to create fuel. And the Sierra Club has been on the backs of the Connecticut Green Bank for doing this because it goes against everything the Connecticut Green Bank has done. In going through this, I've ended up finding out all of this other information, like the $400 million that comes from you, from the Eversource bill. $400 million, which is then used to get private equity firms or private firms to donate money to the Connecticut Green Bank. So I had asked the simple question to Grok, well, after they receive some $2.8 billion after taking the $400 million from the taxpayers, why not pay that money back? Because they got the money, right? So we give them $400 million. They then use that money to lure others to donate money. Why not give the $400 million back and then use that on these projects? Well, they don't do that. What's worse is that the Connecticut Green Bank is allowed to release any information they want without any oversight or any audit. And in one of the stories we looked into, they spent in 2023 $1.2 billion on over 7,500 homes. Most of those homes are low-income families who make about $30,000 to $50,000 a year. The way we looked at the money, there's $500 million unaccounted for. We'll talk about it when we return. Let's get to some weather and traffic. We've got Bob Larson filling in for Jason Caterina, and Mark Christopher's in the BPS Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
Stay locked in. Reese on the radio is on WTIC News Talk 1080.
I got to read so many messages from so many places and do so many emails. Everybody's conducting business, getting their stuff wrapped up while we're here. I want to read a couple of other comments that are in the chat room, anywhere and everywhere. And I also want to say congratulations to Chrissy. We'll do that in a minute. Let me take Bill in Wethersfield real quick. How are you, sir?
I'm good, Reese. Yourself?
I'm good. What's up?
Well, they're talking about trash to energy, and there used to be a plant up here in Hartford, and they stopped burning trash over there, I think, 2 years ago. So I'm not sure what trash to energy plant they're talking about that's polluting the air here in Connecticut, but it's definitely not here in Hartford.
Well, yes, that is 100% true. I am going to get with some of the details. What it's called is apparently a waste-to-energy project that the Connecticut Green Bank is involved in. And apparently this is something that, according to reports, says that what they're burning not only emits greenhouse gases, but also emits mercury into the air.
And so is this a new plant that they're going to build, or they?
No, this is currently happening.
Area?
This is currently happening in the state of Connecticut, according to a report by the Sierra Club, who have been questioning this for the longest.
I'm gonna do some research tonight. I'll call you tomorrow.
You got you got it. You got it. Absolutely. I'll talk a little bit about it coming up real soon.
Sounds good. Right. Bye.
You got it, sir. Thank you. Again, that, like I said, it flies in the face of all this stuff that we've heard, right? I call myself crazy in going down this rabbit hole because that's what it felt like last night. The more and more I started asking questions, the more stuff I started was like, whoa, tell me more about that. What? And it just kept coming up. It's like this controversial thing. I was like, what controversial thing? Tell me more about that. And sure enough, it was just all of this stuff and going, really? Here? And the legislature promoted this? No one, and when I tell you what the vote was on it, it's insane. It's crazy. The money that's being doled out to the Connecticut Green Bank to the tune of over $3 billion? The process, they gave out, listen, let me give you this before we go to weather and traffic. From 2011 to, I think it was 10 years, starting in 2011. In 10 years, the Connecticut Green Bank doled out money to 7,500 homes in 10 years. In fiscal year 2023, they did the same amount, 7,500 homes. And they claim that they spent $1.2 billion on those renovations to make them eco-friendly. But the breakdown in numbers don't make sense. It leaves to question close to $700 million, even if every home got retrofitted the full package. We'll talk about that when we get back. Let's get weather and traffic. Bob Larson's in for Jason Caterina. Mark Christopher's in the BPS Traffic Center.
The self-proclaimed love child of Rush Limbaugh.
They're running a strange program, y'all.
Reese on the radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
All right, folks. As promised, I'm going to break down this green energy craziness with the Connecticut Green Bank. So bear with me because there's a lot of green energy jargon in all of this. And I'm going to try to make it somewhat interesting. Sometimes your eyes can glaze over. Lord knows mine did in going into. So here's the deal. And I'll break it down to you this way. So my question was, is or is not the Connecticut Green Bank spending any money on burning waste for energy? And I thought it told me, no, it's no longer doing that. So I had to ask it again. I said, is it or isn't it? So I said, you know what? Let me just stop. Are they burning energy? Do they have any waste to energy projects that burn garbage or trash or anything for that matter for fuel? Here was the response. The Connecticut Green Bank continues to fund certain waste-to-energy projects. We will refer to that as waste-to-energy projects, or WTE, as of August of 2025. Specifically, those involving anaerobic digestion of organic waste. In other words, food and farm waste, to produce biogas for electricity, heat, or renewable natural gas. This aligns with their environmental infrastructure strategy, which emphasizes sustainable alternatives to traditional incineration or landfilling, reducing methane emissions, and supporting state diversion goals. But then we got into the details. I asked, what is the controversy? Here is the controversy. The practice of waste to energy, particularly in the context of the Connecticut Green Bank's involvement, is controversial for several reasons, depending on the specific technology, e.g., anaerobic digestion versus incineration, and stakeholder perspectives. While the Green Bank primarily funds anaerobic digestion for organic waste, the broader waste-to-energy landscape, including the potential for incineration due to 2023 statute changes, fuels debate. Below are key reasons for the controversy grounded in available information. 1. Environmental and health concerns. This is their problem and why they criticize the Green Bank. Traditionally, waste-to-energy incineration burning mixed municipal solid waste releases pollutants like dioxins, furans, heavy metals, e.g. mercury and lead, and greenhouse gases, CO2 and methane. These can harm air quality and public health, particularly in communities near facilities. Critics include the Sierra Club and the Connecticut Zero Waste Coalition. They argue that the incineration contradicts the Green Bank's clean energy mission, and it generates significant emissions compared to renewable sources like solar and wind. Anaerobic digestion concerns. While anaerobic digestion, the Green Bank's focus, is less polluting, producing biogas and digestate from organic waste is still raises concerns. Potential methane leaks from digesters, if not properly managed, can contribute to greenhouse gas emissions. Methane is 25 times more potent than CO2. Additionally, the digestate application as fertilizer can lead to nutrition runoff, impacting water quality if mismanaged. This is the real reason why Sierra Club is the most angry. And when I read it, you'll understand. Environmental justice. In Connecticut, waste facilities, historically incinerators, like the one now closed in the Hartford plant, which the caller just talked about, are often located in low-income or minority communities, raising quality concerns about the disproportionate exposure to pollutants. The Green Bank's potential to fund incineration under Public Act 23-170. Again, Public Act 23-170 from 2023, which removed municipal solid waste from its non-clean energy definitions. This was a bill that removed this prohibition, allowing the Green Bank to do this. It heightened fears of perpetuating this pattern, even though no such projects are currently funded. But it doesn't mean they're not happening. Their conflict with zero waste and circular economy goals. Environmental groups argued that waste to energy, especially incineration, undermines Connecticut's goal of diverting 60% of municipal solid waste from disposal through recycling, composting, and reduction. Incineration destroys materials that could be recycled or composted, reducing incentives to invest in zero-waste infrastructure. Even anaerobic digestion, while supporting organic diversion, is seen by some in a less preferable solution compared to composting, which preserves more material for soil enhancement. So people are saying that what this provision allowed them to do was to burn garbage. That's the bottom line. And the other part, the part that makes this so crazy, is again, looking up the fiscal numbers of 2023, over $2.5 billion. It had to have been that, right? About $2.5 billion came from private firms into the Connecticut Green Bank. Now, I couldn't understand, well, if they were getting that kind of money, what do they need the public's money for? It makes no sense. Well, it kept explaining to me that they need that money to lure investment privately. So in my view, I'm saying, well, if the people who are struggling to make ends meet and are looking for relief instead of borrowing $155 million so that they can spend another $30 million on EV chargers, why isn't this going through the Connecticut Green Bank? Why wouldn't that be something they would invest in? What do we need to borrow $155 million for and give $30 million to a project that you abandoned just last year? So they explained, because my obvious question was, wait a minute, they got $2.5 billion from private donors? Why not give it that $400 million back? No answer. No interest. They can't give the money back. They won't. So they have to invest it. So I started checking in the projects that they were promoting. 7,500 families actually get these. They can borrow from the Connecticut Green Bank, low interest or no interest loans, to improve their homes, to make them energy efficient. Right? A lot of people do that. The incentive is there. It makes sense. Right? Some people have subsidized that through the government. Get it. Understand it. Not a fan, but I get it. But you give these folks a loan, and they wanted to prioritize families making up to $50,000 a year to retrofit their homes. So they do that, and I ended up looking at the numbers of what this, that, and the third cost. What's it cost to put a solar array on the home? What's it take to put any energy efficient windows in the home? What's it take to, put new heaters or air conditioners in there that are environmentally sound or safe or whatever the nonsense is, the jargon that they use? Well, listen, I looked it up, and even if one house got a loan to do everything, the whole kit and caboodle, it would cost roughly $150,000. Which I said, okay, $150,000 to get the whole kit and caboodle. So let's try this in a very, fundamental way. Let's go $150,000. I'll do that on my little calculator here, times 7,500 homes. If that were the case, we would be looking at $1.125 billion. But that's the problem, because every home did not get $150,000 to retrofit their home. The average cost of every home was about $70,000. $70,000. So where'd the other money go? It begs the question, and there are no records. There's no audit. There's no nothing. I looked everywhere. There's no numbers. They don't even produce them. They don't even provide them. How much are the contractors getting paid? Is there a pay to play? Who's getting their palms greased or their pockets lined? None of it makes sense. It just doesn't. $1.2 billion. $1.2 billion. And nobody's getting the whole kit and caboodle. Nobody is borrowing $150,000 on their home to retrofit it, to make it energy friendly or green friendly. No one is. There are no reports of that. In fact, the low-income households could never borrow that amount of money. So I know it's bogus, but a lot of this stuff is dirty. It just is. And it's not because I say so. The numbers don't add up. They just don't. And unless somebody can provide that to me, why not make those numbers public? Your tax dollars, that's you. That Eversource bill that you're paying, that's going to them. It's going to the Green Bank. And if they're doing good, they should be able to present you with the evidence that it is. Somebody explained to me how in 2023, I guess, I don't know, what's the term? They made green-friendly some 77,000 homes, and they spent $1.2 billion. Even if one home, it was more money to retrofit than the other one was, it still doesn't make sense. And I looked at every number there is, and I can't find it anywhere. When we come back, we'll take your phone calls. Look into the story. I'm not done looking into this. I told you I wasn't. I talked about the Green Bank, was it last summer? And I said I was going to look into it. And I finally got some places where I can get some numbers or at least get some information. And I don't know what's going on in Connecticut, but this is, and I think it's almost like it's a hideaway deal. You know, it's just a little corner of the country nobody's paying attention to. Little dirty things are going on, and nobody's paying attention. I don't know. I feel like that guy who moved into a town and find out the whole place is dirty. It's just dirty. I'll go some more on this. I'll find out some more information. I can't wait to get there, folks. I've never been more excited to be somewhere. I can't wait to get there. I'm going to knock on every door. Oh, baby, I'm just going to spend every day. Hi. Hey. Yes. It's Reese. How are you? I'm going to do it every day. Every day. Something's rotten in Denmark, ladies and gentlemen. I know you know it. I don't have to convince you. But the rest of these folks who are going along to get along, something's got to give. Just does. Barbara says, can't wait to your arrival. Here are the towns within a 10-minute drive of Farmington. Okay, all right, I appreciate you. For those of you who didn't understand, 4 songs long is that when I get in the car, when I play 4 songs, I should, at the end of the 4th song, I should be where I need to go. 5 songs, you're too far. That's just the way it is. Once it goes to 5 songs, I'm like, I'm into the 5 songs. Where is this place? I won't go. I've turned around. And I'll listen to 4 songs and go back home. The reason why is no album has more than 4 great songs. Just no album. Unless somebody can tell me otherwise. I'm sure you can name a few, but not most. You know, Michael Jackson, Lauryn Hill. I don't think there's a lot of people out there who can name an entire album where every song was a banger. There's not many. Let's get to Mark Christopher. He's in the BPS Traffic Center. Mark, can you name an album where every song was a certified banger?
Well, I have one in mind for me. I'm a Steely Dan fanatic, so I think Asia, every song on that album is a banger, but I'm not sure what your definition of banger is. So
you would play it to no matter what. And every song you wouldn't skip.
Asia, Steely Dan, no question about that.
All right, I'll give you that one. I love Steely Dan. I'm not going to lie.
Walter and Donald. They
Not
got
a
it
doubt.
done many, many times. Hey, if you're...
The hour that packs a punch. It's Reese on the radio on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Oh, you know what time it is. It's Hollywood news time. I love this. I say it every day. I look forward to doing it because I love movies. I have not given up on film. I know a lot of you have because you got all these beautiful systems at home. You can watch movies. I just love the movies. I'm going to get people back into the movies. I used to do this thing at our former sister station up in Boston where we would go to the movies together. 2008 was a great year. Of course, we had Tropic Thunder, the first Iron Man, and then we had Hancock with Will Smith. But, you know,
Fire.
2 out of 3 ain't bad.
Oh, you didn't like Hancock?
Not that much.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it had its moments.
I just like, you know what I like? You know why I enjoyed it?
What's that? You got cut off.
Yeah, I wanted to go on.
Oh, yeah.
I enjoyed it because, well, first of all, I'm a weirdo because
Okay.
I like songs that people hate, but I like them for weird reasons.
Okay,
so
that makes sense.
I'll hear like a triangle ding
Yeah.
in the song at a certain part of the song, and that makes me like the entire song.
Gotcha.
And I will listen to the whole song just to wait for that one ding.
Yeah.
So that's the part in Hancock I like is when they play the Ludacris song "Move," get out
Gotcha.
the way, and he was busting through like walls and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. That made me like the whole movie.
Well, let me get to this bit of Hollywood news. This isn't a real Hollywood news story, but it is a debate that is happening to moviegoers. So apparently this one company put out the top 5 football movies list ever. If you're watching on on ReeseOnTheRadio.com, you can see this. But here are what they call the top 5 football movies of all time. Starting with number 5, Adam Sandler's Waterboy. Number 4, Friday Night Lights. Number 3, another Adam Sandler movie.
Longest Yard.
Longest Yard.
Yes.
Number 2, The Blind Side. And number 1 is Remember the Titans. So if you want to chime in on this subject while you're talking about whatever we discussed today, please let me know. Think about it. What was or what you think was missing on this list? Again, Waterboy, Friday Night Lights, Longest Yard, The Blind Side, or Remember the Titans. Which was your favorite football movie? Now let's get to Mark Christopher, who's in the BPS Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
Reese on the radio is getting ready to drop some knowledge on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Drop it.
We've got so much stuff to get into, and, of course, your phone calls, which we'll do in a second. So, again, if you want to opine, people have already started. Even John Silva has joined in the conversation, saying that Brian's song is the greatest football movie of all time. I will say this. According to Entertainment Weekly, John Silva, Brian's song came in number 9, according to Entertainment Weekly. You don't want to know. If John Silva loves Brian's song, you are going to hate the movies that came ahead of it. So get ready, because I'm going to tell this just for John Silva. Is Silva there? Can he get on the mic real quick? I think, John, are you there?
He's in the other room.
Oh, he's in the other room? Okay. I really want him to. So one that I couldn't believe wasn't on the list was Rudy. According to Entertainment Weekly, Rudy.
Oh, he's here now.
Okay, John Silva, can I get you on the mic real quick?
Yes, sir.
How you doing, boss man?
Good, man. How are you?
So you put Brian's song as the greatest football movie of our time in your opinion, right?
In my opinion, yes.
Yeah. Okay. No. I'm not chiding you for that. I'm just telling you that according to Entertainment Weekly, the list that they gave will probably drive you through the wall, right? So let me give them. I'm going to go from 8 to number 1. You might agree with a couple of them. So Brian's song on this list, in fact, I just did this wrong. I don't know why I did, but I have to go back now. Sorry, I'm going all the way back up to Brian's song, which was far worse than on this list. Sorry. Brian's song was listed number 17. I apologize. Yeah, can't believe it.
Even worse.
Yeah, even worse. Number 16, Invincible with Mark Wahlberg.
I didn't see that one.
Yeah, no, Ice Cube's The Long Shot. You wouldn't have seen it. It's a kid's film. Waterboy came in 14. The Express in 2008, never heard of it. Draft Day with Kevin Costner, I heard of it, but never saw it.
That's a good one.
Okay, Palmer with Justin Timberlake is not really a football movie, but okay, we'll skip it. Varsity Blues came in 10. Do you remember that one?
I remember the title. I don't know if I saw
didn't see it. Okay. There's a movie with Brendan Fraser called School Ties with, what's the kid from, not Ben Affleck, but the other one?
Matt Damon,
yeah. School Ties in 92. The original Longest Yard came in 8. 7 was Any Given Sunday. I know you saw that one.
Yeah.
Okay. 6 was Heaven Can Wait. That's not really a football movie.
No, it's a football player.
Right. I don't know why.
Football per se.
Exactly. This one was a television movie, so I know that this really shouldn't count. Monday Night Mayhem, which is about Monday Night Football and that whole controversy with, what's his name, Howard Cosell.
Are you going theatrical films?
This is a theatrical film that was on
Brian's television. Song was a TV film.
Exactly. Okay, so they put that. Friday Night Lights came in at number 4.
Very good.
Which everybody knows that one. But they're throwing in Will Smith's Concussion as number 3.
That's not a. I mean,
It's not really in the vein
deals
of
with
football.
CTE, which is,
football
because
related.
of football. Right, exactly.
Exactly. So I don't think it counts. I think we'll take that off. Of course, number 2 is Rudy, which I thought would have been higher on anybody's list.
No, I never saw Rudy.
What?
No, I never did. I never saw Hoosiers either, so kill me.
Well, no, Hoosiers you have to see just because of Dennis Hopper. He's fantastic in that movie. And number 1, which I think is kind of a giveaway because it's Entertainment Weekly, Jerry Maguire. I think that's
deals with football players, but again, not a football.
Not
movie
a football
per se.
movie, exactly.
Well, not a rom-com either, but
I think it's a rom-com. I think it's fair to call that a rom-com. But you're right. It deals with football-related themes, but not a football movie.
I'm still sticking with Brian.
I'm with you on that one.
I saw that as a kid and cried my eyes out, and I still do.
Totally get it. I understand. You're probably a Field of Dreams guy, too.
Yeah, well, you got me there.
Thanks, John Silva. I appreciate you, buddy. We'll see you in news. Let's get to the phones. Plenty of people got plenty of stuff to talk about. If you've got a football movie you want to throw in, you can, of course. Let's go to Armand and Avon. How are you, Armand? Long time no hear from.
Right. Hi, Reese. How you doing? Thanks for taking my call. So we've talked about Greenback before.
Yes, we have.
And I've got something new to add that you can look into. So to set the foundation, if you remember the Semaphore issue with Lamont and his wife?
Yes.
When it came to COVID testing?
Yes.
Okay, so there was a question about the relationship and if there was financial gains associated with it.
Gotcha.
So I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but Katie Dykes,
that's right,
who is the commissioner of the Connecticut DEEP, is married to the executive vice president of financing of the Green Bank.
What's his name? Mackie Dykes?
That's correct. So the question I would have, and maybe we should ask, do any of the programs that the DEEP promote and position benefit the financing executives in the Green Bank, either from a bonus or a compensation perspective?
Indeed. Because they tout that they provide 29,000 jobs. And
Right.
I'm going, in what field? Like how? That's a lot of jobs for a bank to provide.
Right. And what I'm thinking is, typically at the executive level, it's the amount of money that moves through your department or your desk that dictates your bonus program and your compensation.
Correct.
So if the DEP is promoting programs that are, let's say, teed up to go through the Green Bank, in essence, it could be artificially inflating the income that he's getting as the executive of financing.
Gotcha. All right. I get your angle now. Yes, that totally makes sense. So we need to find out whether or not there are other books related to compensation.
Right. This, and I'm not saying there's any impropriety there.
Right.
But that relationship is a little tight and makes me uncomfortable.
Yeah, I'm not exactly. This is, and I guess that's one of the things that I noticed. I didn't really dig deep, but now a lot of people are nudging me in the direction you're talking about by going to Katie and Mackie and saying what's going on here, because that's, marriages are strange bedfellows when you're both in the same industry. There's a degree of nepotism and incestuous relationships in all of that where it's never without scandal. And again, as I pointed out, these numbers that are associated with like 7,500 homes, retrofitting them to be green energy homes, the numbers don't add up because none of these homes, if you got a low-income loan from the Connecticut Green Bank, you didn't see a $150,000 loan in your home. You would have never qualified for that under any circumstances. So there's a lot of money changing hands, and we're talking about $3.5 billion.
As I say, and I think you're on the right path. There's something questionable about the Green Bank, how they're compensated, the influence of the DEP, and how tightly aligned they are as it relates to each other's success, and if there's any personal gain there.
Indeed. Yeah, good point. Thanks, Armand. Like I said, I'm on this, as I'm learning more and more about it, I'm not bringing anything to the forefront until I get, solid information. And when I found out this thing about how much money it's spent, and who they service. 7,500 homes at the tune of $1.2 billion makes no sense to me, and sure enough, it didn't. It sure enough didn't. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate you.
Take care.
You got it. Let's go to Francis in Plainville. How are you, Francis?
I'm doing well, Reese. I got to throw out a couple of football movies.
Okay.
New Rocky Story, because got to win one for the Gipper.
Of course.
Historically, it's an incredibly important film. Because of Ronnie Reagan.
Of course.
And the second is just a enjoyable film. It's The Last Boy Scout.
Okay, that's a football-related movie, but I'm not going to lie. Let me tell you this, Francis. I love that movie. Boy, do I love that movie.
And the pass that hits the corrupt politician?
Yes.
I mean, come on, that's a great football pass.
That is a great football pass. It's a great movie. It's directed by a director I cannot stand, Tony Scott, but it's still a great action film. It's a movie that people don't really reference when it comes to Bruce Willis, but it's a fun Bruce Willis movie. It is underrated. It's got Halle Berry. It's got everything. It's a really, really good movie. And
it's an absolute guilty pleasure.
And what is the name of the guy who runs the league? Sonny Marcone. Remember him? I told you, I know that movie like the back of my hands. Thank you, man.
The reason I called, however,
yes,
was talking about the trash to energy,
yes,
and the organic burning. I was actually in the legislature for that term, my one term in the legislature.
Wow. Okay, so you know about this vote?
Yeah, I mean, I can't remember. Basically, we had before us, they were trying to shut down all trash to energy.
Okay.
And they've been shutting them down. The Brainerd facility wasn't near any neighborhoods.
Right.
I mean, there's an anti trash to energy. We used to lead the country in it. One of the problems is we have no landfill space.
Right.
In the state. So you're either trucking it out, and usually what happens, especially if it gets shipped by barge out of the country, it's usually a lot more environmentally damaging because it gets dumped in the ocean.
Wow.
So third world, they'll pick through some stuff. They're not even doing that anymore. They're basically getting dumped.
Interesting.
Trash to energy with the modern scrubbers, a lot of the stuff that when the Sierra Club, who I've supported over the years, I'm on the Republican side, but understand I was the guy in the hippie commune I lived in briefly in college who was in charge of recycling.
So you were very familiar with the Sierra Club. So you had did you have a membership?
No, but I would buy their calendars and whatnot.
Of course.
Over the years. The problem is what's happened with a lot of the environmental movement, it goes to this kind of purity that doesn't exist in the real world.
Right, of course.
So the main bill that came before the Environment Committee was the burning of organic waste and getting energy through it.
Right.
The problem with it from an economic point of view is you've already got to pre-pick everything out. And where you're, in terms of the trash to energy, you're getting the tipping fees. Okay, town's got to get rid of the trash.
Gotcha.
You're getting the tipping fee, and then you're burning, and you're then getting the money from the energy. So you're basically getting two revenue.
Right.
The legislature was given the task of, okay, and there was no support for trash to energy. We're going to go to this model, but there's no existing market in it. It's going to cost. So there's got to be monies put into it. I had problems with it, but I'm more of the trash to energy view.
So you approved
the main bill,
but you approved of this bill. You didn't vote for this bill, I presume, right?
I can't remember in the end. I think I might have gotten a deal to keep trash to energy. There was a threat to get rid of all trash to energy.
Gotcha.
So a lot of times when you're voting, it's you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. And
it's not a clean bill anyway, right?
There's no such thing.
Yeah.
So a lot of other stuff, by the time this got out of environment and got to the floor, there had been combined with a bunch of other bills.
Gotcha.
Energy, environment, etc. And what happens with these things is because we don't vote on clean bills.
Right.
You end up with these.
Let me interject, Francis, because we almost got to go. But you make a very, very good point about the fact that it's not a clean bill. One of the things that I could not find, which was very weird, was that when I looked it up, I asked who introduced the bill to reduce the restrictions on waste to energy. You know, there's no record of it. It had to be introduced, but there's nothing.
Well, that would have probably come through somewhere after it had come out of committee.
Yep.
And was put, you get these Franken bills. And one of the problems with the Franken bills is we have the fungibility of monies.
Mm-hmm.
So you're voting for something, you got how many revenue streams and attachments, the money shift over. So you have departments that then can move monies around after the bill's been passed.
Right.
And it's very hard to follow it, which is one of the reasons we really need clean legislation, not only at the state level, but also the federal level, because it's almost impossible to understand what the long-term budget implications are.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it's been an argument of mine for years. It's been an argument of mine for years. Thank you, Francis. I'm glad that you recall this, but trust me, I'm not letting up on this, so make sure.
Oh, no.
When I address this again, give me a holler back, okay? I got to keep digging on this. I just know it. I'm getting more information as we speak. Let's take a break. Let's get some weather and traffic with Jason. Well, no. Jason Ketterman is not here. Mark Christopher's here. He's in the PBS Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
The Odyssey app lets you jump back to the moments you missed from WTIC News Talk 1080. Download the free Odyssey app. Search WTIC News Talk 1080 and tap earlier today to get started.
I still don't know what had happened was. What had happened was.
Oh, it's been a news-filled day on Reese on the Radio. It's time for What Had Happened Was. What happened was today, at the beginning of the show, we broke news that an investigation by the group Friends of the Room, Project Veritas, is going to be releasing on Thursday. Implicates none other than former Attorney General Bill Barr as the person who was responsible for the RICO case that was brought against Donald J. Trump by Fani Willis. You can go to my page, go to my Facebook page, to watch the video yourself that Project Veritas released today. Today's video is talking about this scheme to get people visas to work for companies that don't exist to help wealthy billionaires. Redundant, but billionaires nonetheless. But inside this expose, they tease other videos that are coming out. Apparently, it is a part of a 3-part series. Part 2 will be released on Thursday. If you missed it at the beginning of the show, I told you that I asked Project Veritas, because they got me the exclusive before they released it to everyone. I asked the question because I knew I saw it in the sort of preview of this video that Bill Barr and Fani Willis of Fani Willis fame, Willis and Wade fame, were somewhat in cahoots. Well, I asked them, did Bill Barr set up Donald Trump with Fani Willis? And their response was yes. More details in part 2, which airs on Thursday. I'm sure I will get an exclusive before it airs. They roughly put it out about noon, 1 o'clock. I'm sure they'll send it to me early. I'm in, contact with them all day, every day. From what they told me, in fact, I'll go so far. Let me do this because, I really don't keep a lot of stuff from you guys. Let me read you the text message that I got today. Excuse me. Text message I got today was, goodness gracious, do I not have it here? Where's the heck the text message I just had? I got everybody else but the people that I'm looking for. Where is it? Huh, I don't have it now. Anyway, well, the text message or the contact that I did receive, they said that they have something even bigger coming after this story. So they're going to lay out this story, and of course, according to it, Armstrong Williams, conservative talk show host, part of the Bush administration, was a part of that 2005 scandal where he received over $250,000 to promote No Child Left Behind. Yeah, apparently he's at the center of this. So go to my Reese on the Radio website, go to my Facebook page. You'll be able to watch the story there. It's about 10 minutes long. It'll break the whole thing down. And in that video, you will see the connection between Vannie Willis and Bill Barr. And, of course, as Project Veritas said to me, Bill Barr was associated with the RICO case. According to them and this whistleblower, who's named Patricia Lellis, it was Bill Barr's idea. Let's get traffic and weather. Bob Larson's in for Jason Caterina, the name I keep forgetting, and Mark Christopher is in the BPS Traffic Center. I don't know why I forget Bob Larson. When is he on? Is he usually in the morning or in the afternoon? I would say like Bob's
afternoon.
Yes, afternoon.
Because Bob Cox does our weather in the morning.
In the morning, I miss him. I haven't talked to him in a while.
Cox is a good man. He's a very, very good meteorologist. So yeah, both of those guys just work in the afternoon generally here. So
Bob Cox was the first person.
Which would be Bob, because Bob's our guy in the morning. Hey, if you're.
What's up, everybody? You know who it is. You know who it is. You know who it is. It's Reese on the Radio. Frederick Douglass of the 21st century.
It's WTIC News Talk 1080.
All right, folks, we are almost getting out of here. Let me address a couple of things in and around the chat room. Of course, Brian's song is all anyone could talk about. Great movie, great movie. And, of course, it has now prompted a conversation about the best baseball movies. And Lori and Craig are in the chat room debating which is the best baseball movies out there. But before I get to them, let me get to Rama. Rama says, no mention of Goldie Hawn's Wildcats. No, but I like that movie, and it deserves an honorable mention as a great football movie. And I think it was, and I love Goldie Hawn. She did, what didn't that woman do as far as the movie was concerned? Right? Didn't she do like everything? She was in the military, Private Benjamin, and then did Wildcats. It's like every facet she was getting involved in. But the baseball movie argument, look, I'm going to go out on a limb here. And you don't have to be a chump to agree with me. You have to acknowledge it. Are there great baseball movies out there? Of course. 8 Men Out, great baseball movie. Without a doubt. No lie. Major League. Are you kidding me? Just a bit outside. Bob Uecker, man. I love that movie. But if you don't count, The Natural, I like it. I know Field of Dreams, that's easy. But if you can't count A League of Their Own as a great baseball movie, something's wrong with you. If you can't count that movie as a great baseball movie, that is a great, absolutely fantastic, beyond a shadow of a doubt, great movie. Doesn't matter who's in it. You can hate Rosie O'Donnell. You can abhor Madonna. But Lori Petty and Gina Rowland were fantastic in that movie. And if you didn't get angry when, what's his name? Why am I forgetting his name now? The short, stubby guy. John Lovitz. If you didn't think that guy deserved a Best Supporting Actor nod for his role in the beginning of that movie, if you don't think that he deserved that, something's wrong with you. And Tom Hanks, of course, bar none. I mean, the guy's, I don't care. I don't like Tom Hanks, but I can watch any movies that he's in because he's just a great actor. And as far as like comedic roles and stuff like that, the guy hits him out of the park. He just does. I almost set A League of Their Own as a joke. It's not a joke. It's a great movie. How do you deny that? You can't. And he just, what's so funny? I have this as a soundbite because of it.
Are you crying? No. Are you crying? Are you crying?
It's classic. It's a classic baseball movie. Craig says, I can't stand Tom Hanks. I can understand, but you're not standing him is one of the reasons why you're not going to give him his flowers on this one. The guy deserves it. It was a great movie. It was a great movie. Like, how do you not? What was her name? Penny Marshall? It's got to be. If there's any movie that woman did that was perfect, that's her. She deserved the props she got for that movie. Also, I want to address the text message that I got not too long ago about the hydrilla nonsense. If I could do that real quick, then I'll get to the last phone call of the day. Somebody just wrote me a note that said that they have a family member who's retired from Deep, and they were explaining, their family member who used to work for Deep was explaining to them about the strain of hydrilla that's here in Connecticut and how it's different from the one in Florida. Let me make this abundantly clear, please. And so you can, take this portion and send it to your family members so that they understand where we're coming. First of all, that is the lamest excuse I've ever heard from anybody who's ever worked in Deep. It's a different strain. You cannot get rid of hydrilla. Everybody knows that. This nonsense that says that you have to use an herbicide to get rid of it is a lie. Even if you use an herbicide, you cannot keep hydrilla from growing in the waterways. It will grow back. Why? It is an invasive species that if a bird carries even a grain of that hydrilla to a waterway, in a year, it will grow. It's like a fungus. You'll never get rid of hydrilla. Everybody knows that. Anybody who knows anything knows that. And if you worked for Deep, and you know about this strain of hydrilla and it being different, that is the first thing you know about hydrilla. You will never get rid of it. It's like oxygen. It keeps coming back. That's it. It's that simple. So if that's some sort of if saying that we have to use the herbicide because that's the only way, no. You're going to, even if you use the herbicide and you wipe it out, it's coming back. That's the whole deal with hydrilla. Everywhere across the country is dealing with hydrilla because it comes back. And they have a plan to use carp every 3 or 4 years. They have a plan to use other, means to get rid of it, like eco-harvesting, every 2 to 3 years because they know it'll never go away. That's it. It's that simple. The Bad News Bears, another great baseball movie. You can't beat Walter Matthau, without a doubt. Adopted Italians Unite. I don't know what that's about, but I guess, okay. You're talking about other baseball movies. I can think of a few. I'm not going to lie. I get like a little warm spot whenever I see Angels in the Outfield. There's a lot of people in that movie that, you know of. Corbin Burnson, Tony Danza. That movie it was a kid's movie. What's his name? Gordon Levitt. The little kid from Third Rock from the Sun is in the movie. Danny Glover. People forget about that movie, Angels in the Outfield. It's a big movie with big names. That was a Disney movie. It's a huge movie. What's wrong with you people? Let's go to White Mike, calling from Florida. What's going on, sir?
All right, man. Well, first of all, the best pure football movie of all time is Any Given Sunday because it's a movie about football. Everything else is a movie about other stuff with football as a basis. Brian's Song is not a football movie. It's a cancer movie. Okay?
It's a cancer movie about a football player.
Yeah, but there's more time in hospital rooms and off the field than on the field.
Fair enough.
Second, are you high saying you don't like Tony Scott? Do you not like movies?
No, I like movies. Here's my problem with Tony Scott. I'll go to war with anybody on this one. So I was talking to John Leguizamo a couple of years after he did the movie The Fan with Robert De Niro and Wesley Snipes. I'm sure you heard of it, right? That movie had actual baseball stars in it, okay? And John Leguizamo, I asked him one question. I said, hey, what did you guys think on the set when Tony Scott decided to do the final scene with all of the rain? And John Leguizamo almost jumped out of his chair and said, we were completely flabbergasted at why he was doing that. It was like nobody would play a game in that kind of monsoon. We couldn't understand it. Why? Because Tony Scott has an addiction to some sort of like directorial effect where rain has to be in every movie he's in at the most inopportune times. Like it's his stupid signature, and it makes no sense in his movies.
Okay. You're my brother and I love you. I'm going to rattle off some things that are going to poke holes in your argument.
Okay, if it's True Romance, I get it. I love that movie.
Hold on, son. The Hunger, Top Gun, Beverly Hills 2, Beverly Hills Cop 2, Days of Thunder, Last Boy Scout, True Romance, Crimson Tide, The Fan, Man on Fire. Man on Fire ends this argument. Man on Fire is the greatest thing Denzel Washington ever did, one of the greatest films of all time.
I don't really like that movie.
So, yes, he's got far more winners than losers.
I know he does. Wait a minute, Crimson Tide is his, right? Is it Crimson Tide that's his?
Yeah, Crimson Tide.
Yeah, that one, I'll give him that. Okay, fine. But you know what? What's the opening scene of Crimson Tide? Is it rain?
So what? Put feet in his movies.
No, I'm saying, look, can I say that I like a couple of his films? There's some inexplicable stuff in Tony Scott. I just can't stand it. I don't know why he does it in his films. It makes no sense.
More than a couple, bro. The guy did Top Gun.
I know he did Top Gun. Okay, fine.
And another pick real quick. Jerry Maguire is not a romantic comedy. Jerry Maguire is a drama about a man becoming a better person. It's one of my top 5 movies of all time. I love Cameron Crowe's stuff. Every movie Cameron Crowe has done has been perfect. Even that We Bought a Zoo nonsense was fantastic.
Wait a minute, hold on. Did Cameron Crowe's first movie, was that Reality Bites? Or was that Ben Stiller's?
I think it was Reality Bites, but Cameron Crowe did Almost Famous.
Yes, of course. I know. No one could stop talking about that ridiculous
movie. No better movie about Ross Perot than Almost Famous.
Yes.
The man's perfect. He did Vanilla Sky. Remember that brilliant Tom Cruise movie?
No. In fact, no one liked that movie. No one even mentions that.
Because people are retarded. They don't get it, man. That movie was genius.
The movie's given away in the first 5 minutes.
No, they didn't give it away at all. I was totally caught at the end.
You were?
I had no clue what was going on.
Oh, no, I watched the opening scene of that movie gives the film away. Maybe I just caught it.
But he also did Jerry Maguire and Almost Famous. He did Singles and Say Anything. He wrote
Singles. That's the movie. Yeah, Singles. I'm not going to lie. I did love that movie.
Yeah, Cameron Crowe is my favorite. Too bad he retired, man. He was brilliant.
Yeah.
But Jerry Maguire, if people haven't seen Jerry Maguire, watch Jerry Maguire. It is one of the best films ever made about being a man.
Okay. What am I going to debate there? All right. Thank you, Mike. I appreciate you. I stand by my Tony Scott criticism. Did he do a couple of good films? Don't get me wrong. Crimson Tide, still one of my favorite films. It is. I've watched these Tony Scott films with this look on my face that just goes, ugh. I can't help but roll my eyes. True Romance, which, by the way, I will give him this. First of all, True Romance is a great movie, and if you haven't seen it, get your butt online and watch that movie, okay? Some of the biggest names in Hollywood, and a very, very young and early on, Brad Pitt stars in the film. Michael Rappaport, James Gandolfini, who else is in it? Chris Penn. There's so many people in that movie. Patricia Arquette, of course. Christopher Walken. What's the other guy's name? I just mentioned him not too long ago. That's in Hoosiers. Why am I forgetting his name? Dennis Hopper. Gary Oldman is a white Rastafarian. Everything is in that movie. From beginning to end. It's probably one of the best films in the world. God, I'll never forget that movie. I will always tell everybody who I've ever bumped into, please watch that movie. Did you just say that Michael Rappaport was a good actor? In this movie, he was. In this movie, he was. He's god-awful in everything else I've ever seen. From, what was that movie? Zebrahead? What was that, the ridiculous movie he did? And what was the movie where he played the skinhead who ends up going after, not School Days, it was another one. A Spike
American History X.
No, he's not in that. No, he's in the movie with Omar Epps, Busta Rhymes, and Ice
Cube.
Higher Learning. Yeah, he was in that. That was god-awful. That was god-awful. I want my $2. Fast Times at Ridgemont High. Was that his first movie? Was that Crow's first movie? I didn't know that. No, I never said Michael Rappaport was a good actor. But he plays a ridiculous kid in True Romance. And look, I don't care what anybody says. Go see True Romance and come back to me and tell me that movie's garbage. Just seriously, watch that movie, come back and tell me you hated that film. I doubt it, sincerely. Oh, and don't forget, Val Kilmer as Elvis in True Romance. You don't even see him in the entire movie, but you hear his voice. It's a great movie. Plus, I'm an Elvis fan anyway. But yeah, he had a couple of good ones. Tony Scott. I was heartbroken when he passed away, or took his own life, I should say. I think he jumped off of some bridge in Los Angeles. I couldn't even believe that. No one ever said why. I think he did leave a letter to his brother, Ridley Scott. Anyway. All right, maybe I'll find out what's going on with that. It's time for us to get up out of here. If we get any more details on that Bill Burr story, we'll tell you. As I always say, radio is free, so we thank you for paying attention. Remember to keep JC in your hearts and in your minds. Sean Patrick, we love you and we miss you. Remember that panic is not planning, so plan your work and work your plan. Me, I'm Reese on the radio. You have a good night, pleasant tomorrow. Better Off Dead was a great movie. Mark Christopher, he's in the BPS Traffic Center, but I can't talk to him about movies because he's seen none.
Nah. I can't help you, big guy. I wish I could.
It's all right.
Have a great night. If you're heading
too.
into Hartford right now, 84 eastbound, a little slow, 48 Capitol Avenue. Westbound 84, no problem.
All right, sir.
All right.
Southbound 91, little tapper breaks at 32 A&B. Quiet. Northbound 91, Cromwell up at Windsor, 291.
See you on Hump Day.
Yes,
Eastbound,
sir.
okay, Glastonbury to Marlboro.
Hey,
Quiet
by the way,
Middletown,
stay by your
84
phone. I
westbound,
got to go to
slowing,
the Department of Motor
approaching
Vehicle.
Mixmaster
So if
in
I'm
Waterbury.
running behind, I'll let you know. I got to go at 9 in the morning. I doubt
some
I'll
speed
have any
between 60 and the
problems.
West Rock 95.
Oh, okay. All right, cool.
All right, thanks, man.
In New Haven.
All right, thank you, Michael A. Much appreciated, sir. I hope you guys had fun, too. I did. I love being here. Love doing this. Stay out of trouble. Be good to each other.